Until me and Samantha were in high school, we were the best of friends. We used to play together, dance together, and also giggle together. But suddenly, things changed. In high school, Samantha had a crush on Dav. Dav was the most charming boy in the class then. Samantha told me how she liked Dav, and she was going to propose him on her birthday. Samantha was eagerly waiting for her birthday to arrive. And as her birthday arrived, everyone was busy dancing and partying. Samantha was nervous as she was going to propose for the first time. I cheered her up. "You can do it, sis!" She was all nervous as she went close to Dav. She said, "Dav, I love you. Will you be my boyfriend?" But all of a sudden, Dav walked to me. Samantha and me both were confused, and to our horror, Dav proposed to me. His words, "Ashley, I always loved you, not your sister." These words still resonates in my mind. Wait, what? Was that real? Was that a prank? It took me a while to understand that Dav was actually proposing to me. And then there stood Samantha angrily looking at me. From here, her hatred and jealousy for me began. I did not date Dav, but Samantha was furious. How can Dav reject her and ask me out? From then on, Samantha started hitting on all my crushes. I remember I was 17 and had no boyfriends, all thanks to my sister Samantha. She snatched them even before they proposed to me. I was used to my sister's behavior and did not seem to bother me any longer. Until we moved to our new house in New Jersey. Things changed here. We had new friends. Samantha had her boyfriend then. One day, in college, my eyes met with the most handsome boy I had ever seen in my life. His smile was malicious. I immediately fell for him. My heart began beating fast, and something inside me was pulling me towards him. I was gazing him, and I guess he was staring too. But then, all of a sudden, I heard my sister say, "Ashley, you are never gonna get him." "But why? You already have a boyfriend, and what's wrong if I date him?" "Nothing's wrong, but my revenge is still pending." My sister seemed adamant on snatching my newly found crush. From this day, my sister started her malicious plans. We were together in the college party. That handsome guy was there too. I was staring at him and even he started walking towards me. But all of a sudden, Samantha stepped in all those revealing clothes and asked the guy to dance. Seemed like Samantha's plan worked then. Next day in college that I saw that boy again and immediately rushed towards him. "Hi, I am Ashley. I wonder, would you like to hang out?" I asked. "Yes, certainly," was his reply. But just then, Samantha walked in with her gang. "Hey Nicole, we are heading to the new pub and I have told my friends that you are coming along." Samantha pulled Nicole in front of my eyes and was standing there still. I wanted to confront Samantha for her foolish behavior, but then I remembered how all of this began. Dav! To make the things worser, even Dav joined our college, and from his very first day, he was behind me. He never let me talk to anyone else. Dav was getting on my nerves when in a college party, he proposed to me. I was so embarrassed. I ran out of the party and sat on a bench in a park. I was crying on my fate, but fate seems to be happy on me that he sent Nicole there. Nicole consoled me. I was crying on his shoulder. I told him everything that had ever happened. Nicole wiped my tears and on the park bench, he kissed me for the first time. I cannot explain how the first kiss of my life was. But hey, that was awesome. From that day, Nicole did not seem to care about Samantha or Dav. I was happy that all my worries had ended. But Samantha had something else in mind. She told Mom and Dad about Nicole, and my mom confronted me. Ashley, how can you date a poor boy who works in a cafe? Don't you care about our standards? I never expected this from you! My mom yelled. Mom, Nicole is a nice guy. Although he might not be rich, but he will surely be one someday. I want you to meet Nicole and then decide, I said. Mom and Dad agreed and they met Nicole. My parents were impressed by Nicole and my happiness were over the moon. Until next day, Samantha shook the whole house with her screams. Mom, I cannot find my diamond necklace since yesterday. My parents were worried that necklace was pretty expensive. The cops arrived and Samantha told them everything that had happened yesterday. The cops decided to check on Nicole as he was the only outsider who visited us. But then cops checked him. The necklace was in his pocket. Samantha began to shout and yell. See? I told you! He is not a good guy! Do you still want to date a thief? I cried and went back to my house. Days passed and Nicole was found not guilty as the cops did not find his fingerprints on the diamond necklace. I immediately understood that this was Samantha's plan. She might have slipped her diamond necklace in Nicole's pocket and created this scene. I went to see Nicole only to find him angry on me. I was shattered. Tears rolled down my eyes. Just as Nicole saw this, he immediately hugged me. Nothing in this world is worth your tears. He wiped my tears and hugged me. I told my parents about Samantha's deeds. Samantha promised that henceforth she would not interfere in my life. And whatever it might be, I found the true love of my life, Nicole, just because of my sister's jealousy.
My life on the street was a constant struggle. I had no parents, no home, and no real place to call my own. I often wondered what it would be like to have a warm bed to sleep in and a proper meal every day. But despite my hardships, I had a big heart and a strong sense of right and wrong. I forgot to introduce myself. I'm Nancy. One evening, as the city buzzed with activity around me, I found myself near a small park. My stomach grumbled, a reminder of my empty belly. I watched as people walked past me, wrapped up in their busy lives. I hoped someone might show a bit of kindness and offer me a scrap of food. But the world seemed to have forgotten about me. As I sat, my attention was drawn to a commotion across the street. A store was surrounded by a group of people, their faces a mix of shock and concern. My curiosity grew and I decided to cautiously approach the scene. I made sure to stay hidden behind a parked car, my ragged clothes blending with the shadows. Peeking out from my hiding spot, I saw two figures rushing out of the store. They were dressed in dark clothes, wearing masks that covered their faces. In their hands were bags filled with items that didn't belong to them. My heart raced as I realized I was witnessing a crime, a theft right before my eyes. Conflicting emotions swirled within me. I knew that stealing was wrong, something I had learned even in my difficult circumstances. But I also felt a pang of fear. I didn't want to get involved or draw attention to myself. Yet, deep down, I understood the importance of what I had seen. I knew that if I didn't do something, those thieves might get away with their wrongdoing. My mind raced as I thought about what to do. I reached into my worn backpack and pulled out an old cracked cell phone that I had found discarded months ago. With trembling hands, I dialed the emergency number for the police and held the phone to my ear, speaking in heavy voice. I described the scene, giving the store's location, the description of the thieves, and the direction they had headed. As I spoke, I glanced nervously around, hoping no one would notice me. I felt a sense of responsibility mixed with fear, but I knew that I had made the right choice. While I was on the phone, the thieves managed to disappear into the labyrinth of alleyways that crisscrossed the city. The distant wail of sirens grew louder, and soon enough a police car pulled up in front of the store. Officers jumped out, determined to investigate the crime. My heart pounded in my chest as I watched from my hiding place. The police officers entered the store and spoke with the distressed store owner. I couldn't hear their conversation, but I could sense the frustration in the store owner's gesture. The officers examined the scene, taking notes and photographs. After a while, the police officers returned to their car, their expressions a mix of determination and disappointment. I stayed hidden as they left the area, my heart still racing. I knew I had done the right thing, but I couldn't help but worry about what might happen next. Would the thieves be caught? Would they come looking for me? The night grew darker. I found my way back to the old tree where I usually sought shelter. I curled up under its branches, the rough bark providing a sense of familiarity and comfort. My stomach still ached with hunger, but my mind was occupied with the thoughts of the events I had witnessed. Next morning, with a mix of feeling of relief and anxiety, I knew I had helped, but I was also unsure of what might come of it. I continued my daily routine of searching for bits of food and trying to find safe spots to rest. The day passed slowly, the city's bustling activity a stark contrast to my own uncertain existence. Just as the sun began to set again, I noticed a police officer approaching my makeshift shelter. My heart skipped a beat, my mind racing with worry, but the officer's kind smile and gentle voice put me at ease. He introduced himself as Officer Martinez and thanked me for my call to the police the previous night. He explained that the information I had provided had been crucial in helping them gather evidence and piece together the details of the crime. My eyes widened in surprise and a sense of accomplishment I did. I had made a difference even though I didn't have a permanent home or a fancy life. Officer Martinez handed me a warm meal from a food truck that had been dispatched to assist the community. As I savored each bite, I felt a mixture of emotions, gratitude, relief, and a newfound sense of purpose. I realized that despite my challenging circumstances, I could still have a positive impact on the world around me. In the days that followed, I continued to keep an eye out for anything unusual on the streets. I had become a silent guardian, watching over my city from my unique vantage point. I reported any suspicious activities I witnessed, just like I had that fateful night. And as time went on, my actions didn't go unnoticed. The police officers grew to recognize me and would occasionally stop by to check on me, making sure I was safe and had enough to eat. I had found a sense of belonging, a way to contribute, and a community that cared for me in their own way. As the seasons changed and the city continued to bustle, I would sometimes glance over the old tree that had become my refuge. It stood as a symbol of my strength and resilience, a reminder that even in the toughest of circumstances, a kind heart and a courageous spirit could make a difference, no matter how small.